Okay, let's give this a whirl. I'm making this video for an acquaintance of mine that's taking his engine out of his Yamaha FX140 2002. I've done it a couple of times, so I've got a couple of tips to offer. One of his questions was about this shaft right here. You don't even have to touch this shaft. I have not touched this shaft since I bought my 2002 jet ski some 18 years ago. Okay, you don't have to touch that. You do need to disconnect the battery cables because they go with the engine. You can leave the battery here unless you want to take it out and change it or clean underneath it, that type of thing. Most of these hose connections that connect to this bulkhead back here, not most, but I think all of them I left connected. This water, what is this? A water trap, I think it is. That I did not remove that. I did not. Yes, I did remove this right here, this large rubber elbow, because it fits onto this muffler. There's a big aluminum cylinder chamber muffler that's about, I don't know, 14 inches in diameter, uh, and it needs to come out. It needs to get disconnected from the exhaust pipe. This is your water inlet right here. It's a fork, and I disconnected that right here. That has to be disconnected because that hose goes with the engine. So let's go over here. I'll try to speed up a little bit so this doesn't get too long. Well, let's see, where are we? Let's go to the rear of the engine. Okay, here's the engine. This is the rear face of the engine. And here's the coupling. This is the crankshaft in through here. And the power of the engine is transmitted through the coupling into the drive shaft. Now, it's not mechanically connected because within the, I'll show you here as we go through this, that coupling connects to this coupling, okay? And they're not mechanically fastened to each other, okay? They just fit together like your fingers fit together. And there's a rubber piece that goes in the center of them that transmits the power. Okay, so that is, here's another photo of it here. You can barely see it there. That's not a good photo. But let's see, I've got a diagram. Let's look at this diagram here. Is this the correct one? Yes, okay. This is the crankshaft. Crankshaft comes out the rear of the engine here, and then this is where the power is transmitted into this coupling, and it couples up with that coupling on the rear of the engine. I mean, on the rear of the engine. The coupling on the rear of the engine couples with the coupling on the drive shaft, and that's where your power is transmitted. Okay, let's go over to this photo here. There we go. Here is the other coupling that's connected to your drive shaft. There's the drive shaft. That's the cover, bearing. Okay, there's the coupling that couples to the coupling, and here's this right here is called rubber shaft coupling. So the two metal couplings capture this star-looking piece, which is thick, heavy, hard rubber. And that's the way your power is transmitted. Of course, there's no transmission. Now, you can't see all this when you look down behind your engine because it's covered by this cover. This is a piece of plastic. It's black. Got a couple of bolts. And it fits on a couple of little prongs right here, little rubber prongs. So that's got to come off. You got to take that off so you can see what's going on. And once you take that off, you can see the couplings and you'll understand how all that fits together. So that's that. That's the couplings, okay, in the photos. And that's pretty much all of that. Yeah, that's all of that. Just a lot of disconnecting, But when you, okay, let's go back to this one. When the engine's in here, here's the mounting bolts. Here's the muffler. Exhaust pipe fits that. Okay, and you have hoses coming through these holes in the bulkhead. But when the drive shaft couples up to the crankshaft, rather, this is the drive shaft. When the crankshaft couples up to this, it has to be done in a lateral fashion. So when you're taking the engine out, you take the bolts out and notice the shims. If there are shims, notice whether there's one or two because there might be, mine I think had two here, and one on each of the front mounts. But this coupling right here, you're going to have to move the engine laterally in order for this to disconnect. You can't just move the engine straight vertically because it won't come out, it won't come loose of this coupling. So the engine has to go laterally first. And then let's see, this, I got this pull over here and stuck in there to get out of the way. This is full of grease, and there's a grease fitting here, and this is how you grease the engine. And I'll make this short. There's your I wasn't meaning to talk about that. I want to call it a drain, but it's a vacuum that vacuums up. It's supposed to vacuum up water. Oh, the thing I wanted to mention is there's an oil filter over in here that attaches to the side of the engine. You've got to drain the oil from the engine. Let's go back to the photo and see if it, no, there's no, I don't have a photo of it. But the top, you're going to have to drain the oil from the top of the engine. Not drain, that's the wrong word. You're going to have to pump it out. I use a hand pump, $10 hand pump, and I also use a turkey baster to draw that water out, not water, draw all that oil out, and then take the oil filter off. That needs to be done before you remove the engine, because the oil filter will not come past this lip right here. It'll hit it, and you'll be stuck. You'll be stuck with the half engine up in the air, and you can't get it out. So take the oil filter off. That's all. I'm going to stop this right here.